Alright, so from mic test, let me just confirm if I'm audible. Hopefully I am. Alright, so from mic test. Yeah, I'm very much audible, so let's do the intro again. Yo, so this is Caesar, and welcome back to what is not a league race for a change. It's just a one-off event. It had been a long time. Just get that volume down first. So it had been a long time that we did anything in GD Sport in kind of a friendly sort of way, but of course in a clean manner. And so here we are. Randomly decided to hold an event here, and to do something differently, we decided that it had to be a NASCAR theme, and when it's NASCAR, it has to be in USA. So here we are in Laguna Seca, event 1 of 3, short sprint races, all 3 of them. I think it should take around 1 hour to get through all 3 of them. Laguna Seca to start with. It will be followed by special stage Route X, so Slipstream Fest right there, and we'll be closing down this mini so-called championship, if you can call it, in Blue Moon Infield A, if I got that name correctly. And yeah, I'm looking forward to an exciting race from all of these drivers. You can see drivers are sporting sort of a NASCAR liveries, except Weber here. He's in a default Ford livery, but rest of the guys, Abby Taku, you can see in the Ford Mustang. This is Fun Anywhere in the Corvette. Shah in a rather colorful SpongeBob themed. They're pretty interesting. Frisbee, or Aniket, if I'm not wrong, his name is, in a black and orange Corvette. So qualifier has started. Qualifying session, of course, let me remind you, will be for 10 minutes and will be only for race 1. For race 2 and race 3, the starting order, grid order, will be based on the previous race result, and it will be reverse grid. So whoever finishes P1 will start last in the next race, and so on. Let's have a look at the comment section. I saw a couple of comments there. Zohair Ali and Dan Loco confirming that I'm loud and clear, which is good to see. People can hear me over the game noises. While we wait for everyone to come out, let's hope it's a clean start for everyone. People are not going around in circles in the pit lane as this game. Oh, I see on the minimap there are drivers who are going in circles. That is Monk. Oh, it's Ancient Pleb who has lagged out. Unfortunately, it's anyone else? Azim as well. So Azim and Ancient Pleb are the only two who I'm sorry, who have failed to leave the pits. So let me just, for their sake, I mean it's a friendly session, so let's just restart it. Why not? We want everyone to be here. And who's that black car? No idea who that black car in the parking lot is. Also, parking lot, what am I speaking? In the pit stop. There. The rest of the field, I think they will drop out one by one. Let me just get this information on board so we know who is running where. Yeah, lobby setting wise, there is no tire wear, there is no fuel depletion, so it's a straight out sprint race. Laguna Seca, there will be 7 laps around this track. In special stage Route X, I'm sorry, I can't recall the name. Special stage, there will be just 2 laps, but it's quite a long lap in itself, so 2 laps should be quite entertaining. And in the Blue Moon Speedway, it will be a total of 15 laps. So all in all, if glitches like these doesn't happen too often, it should be over within an hour or so, considering there are no qualifying sessions after this race. People are still driving around, maybe just getting their practice laps in, trying out the brake balance settings, the braking points, the turning angles, the trail braking, etc. You know the lot. So while we wait for the lobby to restart, let me just come out of to the main screen. Let's have a look at the drivers who are here. So quite a few familiar faces if you have been around our GT India group. I mean, it's an unofficial group, of course, but you know what I mean. So Azim Clark has always been there. Mr. Consistent, Wildest Monk. It's been long that I've raced him, and it's good to see him here. So let's see what he can do tonight. Shah 2224 or Rahul. Shami, his name is Fahad. I'm too bad at remembering names, so excuse me if I just butcher your name. Abhi Thakur, of course, he's helping me out tonight. And Teg is one. I hope I said Teg correctly. Nikhil, Fun Anywhere, who is Aditya. Nadeem Khoker, PSP is Aniket. Ancient Pleb, another Aditya. Caesar, that's myself. Shaz, that's Shehbaz. VA270699, that is Varun. And Cape Crusader. Who is Cape Crusader? I'm sorry, I can't recall your name. I apologize. So, yeah, so you can see people are leaving the room, and they will pretty soon join back once, in the hope that this pit lane bug doesn't repeat itself. Going back to the comment section, Zohair Ali is rooting for his ex-teammate in Shami, and Dan Loco is rooting for his ex-teammate in Ancient Pleb. Quite a few new names here. I mean, I have raced with quite a few of guys here, but guys like Teg, Shah, Nadeem, Webhav, Shehbaz, who will rejoin pretty soon. I haven't raced these guys. FSB, I don't believe I've raced him much, maybe once or twice. So Cape Crusader, so I don't know what their pace is, so it should be interesting to see, and hopefully they can mount some challenge to Ancient Pleb, who is impressively quite quick. Yeah, it's quite jealous of his pace, but we're not to him. Yeah, so Shehbaz is here. We need 16 people in the lobby, including myself. So how many are there? 10 have readied up, and 14. So we're waiting for 2 more guys. Let's see. Who are we waiting for? Is Pleb here? No, we're waiting for Pleb in this. I think Thieves is the other guy who I'm missing. Yeah, Thieves is another guy who I haven't raised in this game, so no idea how quick or slow he will be. Have to wait and see. Rahul says, what the hell, man? These GT lobbies, I understand. I feel the pain. I have been through this experience, quote unquote, many times in the past. And I know exactly I'm sorry, I know exactly what you mean here. But we have to be patient and hopefully things iron out itself. If they don't, then I'm pretty sure we'll just run a random practice session, and whoever sets the fastest lap, we'll just start the grid as it is. No, Dan Loco, I'm not his biggest competitor. I think Abby to Speed, who is not here tonight, I think he is the closest rival. Maybe Pradyuman as well. I hadn't had wheel-to-wheel racing, but he seemed rather quick. So me, no, definitely no. Caesar is not in the same league as Pleb is. So. But thanks for that. Thanks for considering my pace so high. Let's just wait for everyone to join in. I don't want to speak too much without any race and then just have a sore throat. So I'll be back once we have this quali session started. So stay tuned. Right, here we are, and I can already see people are going around in circles. This classic GD Sport lobby. Some have managed to get on with it. Some there are. I can see a couple of names. Ancient Pleb is one of them. Who else? I think he's the only one who's going around in circles. Let me just be right back in a minute. Let me just sort this out. I am sorry about that. I was just talking to Ancient Pleb, and yeah, I think Nickel glitched as well. So unfortunate that they are rejoined. They couldn't get in this qualifying session with the stupidest glitch that forces the drivers to not go out of the pits. But hopefully they can join in for race 2, and that's what we hope for, and it should be a glitch-free race for both of them. But coming back to the drivers that we have on the grid, all but 2 drivers are on the track. So Crusader is, yeah, he's the first one to set a lap time with a 122 point, I think that was 6, but immediately beaten by Take is 1 with a 122.4. So that's pretty impressive. FreeSB setting, what did he set? 123.0, a web of 24.2. Azim Clark is next to cross the line. Let's see if he can challenge that 122.4. No, he's 3 seconds slower. Abhi Thakur 129.9. So Tech, I believe, has really set up the pace here. People are finding it difficult to match his time. Shami, I think, yeah, he wasn't quick enough. Fun Anywhere was really slow, so he must have had some incidents at some part of the track. Nadeem Koka, where exactly is he? He's just started his lap, so he is on his hot lap at present. So let's stay on board with him. He is the only driver who hasn't set a lap time, and it should be good to see how he follows. So let's stay on board. Let's take the driver's eye view, if I can speak correctly. The important thing on this track is you have to be really aggressive as well as smooth on the exit of every corner. Coming up to the infamous corner corkscrew, really important to spot your braking point perfectly on this blind corner and just throw your car down and just hope that it back and sticks, as Azim almost comes in front of him, but he managed to avoid that beautifully. Just one more corner to go, taking that beautifully, going wide, taking advantage of the curves on the exit. Final corner, let's see what he can do, taking the green strip, green AstroTurf, ensuring that he gets maximum running area, and he goes pole with a 131.1. So this was pretty impressive from Nadeem Koka. Abhi Thakur improved on his time as well with a 121.4, and Shami improved as well, 22.2. Monk improved, 22.3. So everyone is improving on their time. Take is one, has fallen down the order. He was on pole a few minutes back. He's down into P5, so he needs to improve on his time ASAP with under 5 minutes of qualifying to go. Cape Crusader coming down from the corkscrew. Just 3 more corners to go after this. Let's stay on board. I believe he'll be the next one to cross the finish line. Yes, he will be. Penultimate corner, just missed the apex on the entry, goes wide on the exit, so this will not help his lap time, but he needs to nail this. Not exactly, but it wasn't the worst of all. So let's see if he can improve. His best is 122.6. Does he improve? No, he does not. He is 6/10 slower than his previous best. Web up in front. Let's see if he can improve from P9. No. FreeSB goes P3. Webhoff is down in P8. So he did improve, but was immediately beaten by FreeSB. Fun Anywhere. Pretty unexpected to see him down the order in P9, but I'm sure this lap he should be improving. 23.8. He is over 2.5 seconds slower, if my math is correct, than everyone else. Azim has improved. He's up into P9. And what will Fun Anywhere do on this lap? He does not improve. Shah with the SpongeBob livery, very much far away from what NASCAR is like. He improves. He sets a lap time with a 37.7, so that is his personal best, but not good enough. He's 6.5 seconds off Nadeem Koka's pole time. Ancient Pleb, who must be really gutted with his glitched out Mustang in the pits. Nadeem Koka, since there is no tire wear, literally everyone is on in a hot lap, so every lap has to be perfect here as much as possible. Nadeem getting some advantage of slipstream from Fun Anywhere, so maybe they can hang out a bit after this has ended, if Nadeem Koka manages to improve on the time. So pretty tricky here, braking on the blind uphill section of corkscrew, especially under the slipstream of the car in front. You can see he almost lost the car, but manages well to hold on to it. But he's 3 tenths down on his best, so even after that slipstream, he doesn't improve. But Abhi Thakur has managed to snatch the pole away from Nadeem Khoka, 121.0. So we are on the fringes of 1 minute 20. So can anyone really get into the 120s? We'll have to wait and see. So Nadeem Khoka starting yet another lap. 126.3 wasn't his best lap time, to be honest. Shami is 7 tenths down. He is in P3, but the gap that top 2 has opened up to the rest of the field is quite big. But I have raced with most of these guys, and I know they are pretty much evenly paced with each other. So Shami will definitely improve on his time. 121.8 is his personal best, but he will be looking to improve massively on that lap time. Will he be the next one? No, there are quite a few cars in front of him. VSB is one of them, who's getting a wonderful slipstream from Vaibhav in front. He is starting his lap, and this could very well be the final lap for Vaibhav and VSB. Let's hope that they are able to improve on the lap. This is definitely a final lap for drivers in take is 1. My Wildest Monk coming across the final corner. Will he improve on his lap time? He's 1.3 seconds off Abhi Thakur's, who were teammates in Proximity GT Sport Racing League a few months back, and it's not the most impressive time by his standards, but we know how his race pace is. That's where he shines the most, but he can still improve. Cape Crusader again 1.5 seconds behind the pole sitter. Abhi Thakur takes the corkscrew, not as aggressively as people usually do. Maybe he's just holding up and getting ready for his hot lap. Elsewhere, Vaibhav is improving. He has improved by over 3.5 tenths, but this will not improve his positions, unfortunately. He will stay in P8 if he doesn't have a massive improvement in the final 2 corners. So going across the final corner, what will Vaibhav do? VSB is right behind him, and so is Teg is 1. Checkered flag is out. Vaibhav improves his time, but not his position. Who was behind him? I think VSB. Teg is 1 improved to P3. Nadeem Khoka is still 1.5 tenths. No, Abhi Thakur has improved even further, so he is into the 120. So that's pretty impressive time. Nadeem Khoka needs to have a pretty solid lap if he needs to get that pole away from him. But Teg is not far off, but I think he's done with his qualifying, so that's done and dusted for him. He will start no higher than P3. Nadeem Khoka coming across the final line. Will he improve? No, he doesn't. So 121.6. So without tire wear, he managed to put in his best lap on the second lap, and that was it for him. Rest of the field, let's see if anyone. Cape Crusader is on his hot lap. Let's see if he can improve. I think he will be the next one to go across the line, or maybe the final one. Let's just quickly have a run down the order. Okay, Shy is very shy, exactly. No, so Cape Crusader will be the first one out of those two to cross the finish line. Cape Crusader with a 122.5, his personal best. Can he improve from P7? No, he can't. He's 1 second down on his best time. Shah 127.7. He is down in P11, and he doesn't improve himself. So I think we are done with our qualifying. Ancient Pleb is still going around in circle in the pits. Abhi Thakur, the only driver to go into the 120s, takes pole in race 1 of this NASCAR series. Nadeem Khoka did well at the start, but just couldn't improve as the laps went on. He is in P2. Teg is 1 with that beautiful blue colored Diet Pepsi themed livery. Is under a tenth from Nadeem Khoka, so this should be interesting to see how they battle each other in the race. Shami in the 4JD is in P4, but he's 8.5 tenths down from Abhi, so he'll be looking to improve. Wildest Monk in P5, and who else? I'm sorry, I just couldn't read quickly enough. So race 1 is about to start. Let's hope everyone, including Asian Pleb who's at the back, starts this race without any issues. Let's hope. While we wait for drivers to ready up and the countdown to signal the green light. And away we go. So everyone has managed to get off the line perfectly. Look at the Viper taking this one off the line. What a beautiful launch that Viper has got. And he's left everyone from dust. He started P3. He's taking the inside line, going very defensive. Nadeem Khoka is on the inside of everyone. Takes the sand, I can't speak, take the gravel area, and now he's in the lead. But the Viper of Takes 1 is being hounded by the cars behind him. Abitab, who started on pole, is down in P3, followed by the FreeSB, Wildest Monk in P5, Cape Crusader in P6, Fun Anywhere, Vaibhav, Azim, Shah. Shah is the only one. So Shami is fallen far back behind, so he must have had a collision with someone. We'll wait and see. But Abitab has made his way up into P2. So Takes 1, after that impressive and mega launch off the line, is now fallen 1.5 seconds behind the leader of Nadeem Khoka. He's down into P3, or where he rather started, but Nadeem Khoka, something's happened to him. He's fallen down the grid order. He was in P1, but now he's just losing positions out of position. Up into Kosu, Wildest Monk goes deep, Cape Crusader goes deep. So it's all going haywire here. Fun Anywhere is into P4, but he's being overtaken on the outside by Cape Crusader. This is wheel-to-wheel racing. Let's hope no one crashes out here. Everyone falls behind in a single line here. And luckily, unfortunately, no huge crashes at the start, but Azim Blok sending it down the inside of Vaibhav and getting a tank slapper on the exit. Vaibhav and Nadeem having a drag race at the back behind Azim, but Nadeem, having the slipstream of the Corvette in front, managed to pull away from Shami. Shami is down into P10. He won't be happy. And yeah, 4 GTs are not doing pretty well here at the moment. But Abhi Thakur is already 1.5 seconds up in the lead. All the battling that's going on behind him has really helped him pull away and a gap to the drivers behind. Fun Anywhere in P4, Cape Crusader in P5, Wildest Monk in P6, so he'll be looking to improve on his position. Nadeem Khoka, who was running comfortably in P1, we actually missed what happened to him, but he is down into P7 after being in P1 for half the lap from the start. Shami has got a 4-second time penalty. Must have probably made some collisions. We know how the collision system works in this game, but 4 GT is looking not so good here. Shami, Vaibhav, they're all down the order, even Shah. So 4 GTs are not having a good time here. But look at the gap. Takes 1 has closed down. It was 1.5 seconds. Now it's down to 1 second. So Viper is really showing its true colors now in clear air. Pretty soon we could be seeing a battle for the lead as well. FreeSB is in comfortable P3, nothing to worry at the moment, but battle for P4 is all that's heating up. Fun Anywhere in the Corvette. Viper is what Crusader is driving. So Viper seems to be having a better straight line speed than the rest of the field here, and but in the corners I think that's where it's losing out just a tad bit, but I can only just assume from the combo. On the inside, meanwhile, Nadeem Khoka in his Mustang, he's making his way up. He was P7 the last time we were on board with him, but he's now up into P5, managed to overtake Monk and Cape Crusader. Shami is slowly but slightly closing down the gap to the back in the front, but this is a close gap of 5 cars. Cape Crusader, Wildest Monk, Nadeem Khoka, Fun Anywhere and FreeSB, who's looking to be pulling away a gap just a little bit, but the gap is not closing down between Takes 1 and Abhi Thakur as well, who are in P1 and P2 respectively. So remember, no tire wear here, so every driver can just push every lap. Just 7 laps, 3 more laps to go after the completion of this lap, and unless something really wild happens. Oh wait, what happened? Wildest Monk is down into P8, so I must have missed something, and once again it's the 4 GT that's struggling here. So drivers who picked 4 GT are not a happy bunch. In Nadeem Khoka, who was up in P5, is now down back in P7, so it's quite a roller coaster drive for Nadeem here, who was in P1, fell down to P7, made his way up to P5, and now he's back in P7. So yeah, it should be interesting to see what he says after the race, but otherwise the only Corvette in the backfield of Azim, he won't be happy with it. Yeah, but 4GT, you can see it's just going all over the place. Up in the field, Abby is pulling up a gap to take his one. I hope I'm pronouncing that name correct. So 1.5 second lead is quite comfortable, very much out of the slipstream zone. Fierce B is in a comfortable P3 in the world of his own. 3 seconds at the front, 3 seconds at the back. He wouldn't be sweating too much. Fun anyway has pulled up a gap from the back behind, so he is pulling some sort of a lead, but battle for P5 is still here. Between Cape Crusader, Shami loses the back end, so this has not been a good race for him. I mean, at least as good as he would have hoped for. He was right on Cape Crusader's exhaust pipe, but he's lost a massive amount of time. And now Nadeem Coker is got it back to him, and you can see Shami, another 4GT, is the victim. 4GTs, of course, I guess, for this track, but I'm sure they'll be pretty happy to use it on the next track where we go to Special Stage Route X. So is P1 the only battle? There's actually no close battle. There is one though, between Azim and Weber. Azim is on the tail of Weber, who is driving a 4GT, and 4GT we have seen so far is not the best car for this track. So can Azim go one better in the upcoming 2 more laps of this race? We'll have to wait and see. He goes personal best with a 124.1, but the fastest lap is a 121.2. So that's quite... Oh, Azim misses the braking point, goes almost into the back of him, but avoids that comfortably. Abhi Thakur, meanwhile, is 3.5 seconds in front, so he is quite comfortable. He's quite happy with the drink by his side. His favorite team, Manchester United, is winning quite comfortably here. So he's having quite a drive on a Sunday evening here. He's pulling the gap ever so slightly every corner. 3.7 is the gap. Teg is 1, Fierce 3. So podium sitters are quite comfortable in the space that they are at. Fun Anywhere is in P4, but he's been hunted down rather quickly from Cape Crusader. The gap was over 3 seconds the last time I remember, but it is P5. Nadeem Coker, meanwhile, is into P6, and he is closing down the gap to P5, so maybe we could see him battle P4 by the time race ends. So pretty impressive pace. Oh, there's yellow flags. Where was the yellow flag? So Shami is okay, maybe Shami was a lapped car, I believe. Yeah, Shami is a lapped car. Unfortunately, it's not the best race he's having. But then again, Special Stage is coming up next, and we could see 4GT flex its muscles on those long straights. Now, coming back to the only close battle that we have on the track, Azim Clark on the inside. Weber has left the door open. Will Azim take it in? No, he doesn't, but Weber still goes really deep. But Azim does not send it down the inside. Come on, Azim, just give us some action. It should be interesting to see. Abby, coming back to him, as I said, he's pulling away. He's 4 seconds now. He's literally chilling, and you can see by his lap time so consistent with a 121.2. His previous lap was the best lap of the race, so pretty consistent here, and I think that's what helping him pull away a gap. Teg is not really consistent. His last 2 laps have been quite shabby. Fierce B, meanwhile, he is doing alright, and he has managed to close on the gap to take his 1, so this could very well be a fight for P2 by the time. Oh, the final lap has started, so this is the final lap. So we have 3 different constructors, Ford, Dodge and Chevrolet in the top 3. But Mustang is the car to go for this track. Fun Anywhere is in P4. He has been there almost at the entirety of this race. Cape Crusader is trying hard. This is the final lap, so he will give everything that he has, or his Viper has to give on this final lap. Nadeem Coker, who had quite topsy-turvy race, and he has managed to salvage P6 at the moment. You never know, he could gain another position or 2 here. Wildest Monk, not the best of races, but then again, he's in a 4GT, which is not the best car around here by the looks of it. Webhoff in P9 and another GT in P10. He is a lap down, but coming on board with our race leader, our pole sitter, who had a rather comfortable race. No sweat broken, of course, besides the launch that Viper had at the start. Rounding off the final corner in a red and black livery, sporting the Haas name, Abhi Thakur takes the checker flag and crosses the line to win and sets the fastest lap as well on the final lap to win race 1 of this NASCAR GT series. Take his one, did really well and improved on his position from P3 on the grid to P2. FreeSB did well in P3. Fun Anywhere stayed P4 almost the entirety of this race. Nadeem Coker, he took P5 in the end. So Cape Crusader must have lost his back end because the gap wasn't that close to lose a position. But Wireless Monk in P7, Azim Clark coming across the final corner in P8. Webb of Will be P9 and Shami a lap down crosses the line in P10. So this has been quite an interesting race. Not many wheel-to-wheel battle after a couple of laps, but nevertheless it was quite interesting to witness and commentate on Abhi Thakur getting the fastest lap on the final lap of this race. So there you have it, from pole to victory, fastest lap, clean race, everything that you can hope for in this game. Abhi Thakur has managed to take that. So just final look at the result. I think few drivers quit because they were frustrated with 4GT. Shah isn't here. I can't see Steve's. Steve's here. Maybe I couldn't see him, but 10 drivers finished out of the 16. Hopefully we can have other drivers join back in. We won't have qualifying session for the next race, that is special stage Route X. We will be having reverse grid, but I don't think anyone will complain with the reverse grid on the next track, as slipstream is the key. Couple of laps, so we shouldn't be seeing any crazy moves at the initial part of the next race. So while I update the points table, let's just keep that updated. I'll be right back and see you in a bit. Hello and welcome back to Race 2, and here we are in Special Stage Route X. So you can judge by the map layout there. Oh wait, that's my voice echoes in the background. So yeah, looking at the map you can see this is painfully long track to complete one lap. I believe one straight is around 10 and a half or 11 kilometers long, so in total this should be 24 kilometers one lap. So this should provide us with quite an entertaining race. It will be full of slipstream, but I think it's the final leg, final 5 to 6 kilometers is where all the action will kick off. But the main thing is to be in the slipstream of the drivers around you, because if you happen to lose the slipstream for some weird reason, it's like very difficult to do so. But if you happen to lose it, it's literally curtains for you. So you cannot make a comeback. Someone is sporting a new livery here. Who's this? Abby Tarkut is in a Corvette, so he was in the Mustang in race 1. It's a pretty impressive livery of STP. Any more car changes? Nickel, I can't remember which car he was in, but he definitely looks in a different car. Fiasby is in the same. Ancient Pleb decided to be in the trusted old Mustang. Viper is the same. Shami is in the same car. Nadeem is in the same car. Azim. Yeah. So I think everyone is in the same car here. Shaz, who wasn't in race 1, I believe, is in the Ford GT. So I think Ford GT is the car to go on this track, but some drivers have decided to stick to the cars that they were driving in the past. So yeah, we'll go once everyone is ready, while we watch everyone just make a mockery out of this practice session. Right, so I think we should be starting now, pretty soon. Every one of them is in the lobby, I believe. So while we wait for the race to get started, it will be a reverse grid based on the result of the previous race at Laguna. So Abby Taco, who just creamed that race, will be starting from the back of the grid. So while we wait for the race to start, let's have a look at the comment section. Nicholas predicts that an Indian will win, and I'm pretty sure that you must have won quite a lot of money if you had placed your bet on an Indian winning this race. So well done. Cafe Racer Sheikh, I think that's Shehbaz here, who is where's Shehbaz? Yeah, Shehbaz. Let's go on board if I can spot him. Why can't I see Shehbaz? He was right there. Interesting, but moving on. Abdul Mukim says all the best Azim, so brotherly love shown here to Azim. Ancient Pleb predicts that Mustang isn't going to do well here, but knowing how Pleb is, he loves to sandbag, and we all know how quick he is, and he knows quite a bit about this game than the rest of us, so obviously that's where his pace comes from. So personally, I wouldn't believe what you're saying, Pleb. All the best as the final has been started, and we are almost green for race 2 of NASCAR series in GD Sport. We have 13 drivers, so some of the drivers I believe weren't able to join in, unfortunately, but 13 is what we have to do it while we wait for countdown to go green. Ancient Pleb starting in P2, but then again, grid order is not important on this track as everyone starts. Not exactly everyone. Drivers are stuck. I think how many? Game Crusader, then there's Pleb, and then there's 5 drivers. So that just calls for one thing, unfortunately. That sucks. That's absolutely sucks, and that's very typical of this game. So many bugs that polyphony just fails to address I agree with you, Rahul. It's yoke. It's a big yoke. But they do work, but not before they frustrate the heck out of everyone in the lobby. So you gotta live with it. What can you do? Nadeem Coker, the only one on track, needs to get out of the race. Yeah, he's been given the order to so we could see drivers leaving and then rejoining, and hopefully it sorts itself out the next time that we start, which should be in a few minutes. At this moment, yeah, F1 2020 is slightly better, but of course it has its own personal issues that frustrates the Formula One drivers. But I think overall F1 lobbies are easier to conduct. But we are not in F1, we are in GT Sport, and whatever challenges this game throws, we have to take it. We have no choice, we cannot just solve the game now. Yeah, people are joining now. Nikhil has joined back, and Cape Crusader and Nadeem have joined back as well. I think these are the drivers who were facing issues, who were requested to leave and join back. So hopefully we'll have everyone. Asian Pleb, we're just waiting for him to join in. I mean, it will be a shame to not have these drivers on the grid. They have taken out time. It's almost midnight now. They have taken time to come and race with everyone here, and yeah, just going out empty-handed will be quite sad. But I think if everything worked smoothly here tonight, we would have been over by our races by now. But it's GT Sport, and these things are expected. What can you do? in for hopefully a positive restart for race 2, and fingers crossed we should have everyone off the line this time around. So Shaz in P1. The only driver I think who's in the lobby but who I cannot see is the Ancient Lev. So I have no idea where he is, or if he is on track or not. He did join the lobby, but that's something to look at later on. And I think everyone is off except yes, Nadeem Kogar. Is he? Oh no, he's fine. He's fine. He just lost the back end. That's what he did. So everyone is off. Nadeem Kogar has lost massively, and we're off. So finally, 1 kilometer done. 9 more to go on this massively long straight, and bump draft is what we get to see. And you can already see everyone is lining up as you get a beautiful shot of all these cars. Shaz, K Crusader, Shami, Azim, Weber, who's brave enough to break that slipstream. Wildest Monk is just a tad bit behind him, but enough to be in the slipstream. Fun Anywhere in his Corvette in P7, Abby Tarkot in P8, a race winner from P1. Tag is one in P9, FSB P10. Nadeem Kogar, he missed out massively, and unfortunately he will not get any advantage of that juicy slipstream. But up in the front, the slipstream fest continues, and Shaz in that, was it Haribo? Yeah, Haribo, I think the name is right there. In the Haribo livery, the black and gold, and someone's already making a move. Webber is now up into P1, but we'll see quite a bit of position changes here, and Shaz will say, yeah, let me have that slipstream for a bit. But you can see the group is breaking away just slightly. The top 6 have pulled away a bit of a gap from Abby Tagore and Fun Anyway, but they will close on the gap rather sooner compared to everyone else. Meanwhile, the top 3, the OP car on this track, which was expected, the Ford GT. You can see the top 3. Abby Tarkot in his Ford GT is closing down the gap, and he's already side by side in P6 and in P5, so he's making the moves. So Ford GT maybe is the car to be on. It was pretty shocking in race 1, to be honest, but in race 2 on this track, it's showing why this is the car to be in. So while it was at the bottom of the pack in race 1, it's in the top 4. All the 4 GTs, which is good to see. Now this is the first corner that's coming up on this track, so a total of 4 corners in the entirety of this race, but it's these corners here where the drivers can lose the car. Even with the slightest of touches, you can see how disbalanced the car from Weber is. He's going left, right, doesn't want to really push other drivers off the track, but it's very much clean so far. So first corner is done. Another long straight back to the main start finish line commences, and it's literally a drag race between these 3. You can see Mustang's 3 wide. The track is wide enough for maybe 3 more to go side by side, and you can see it's drag race that's being currently won by Wildest Monk up in P1. But further back, Abby Tarkot is having a drag race of his own, and he's getting bump drafted by the drivers behind him, and I think that's the key here. Bump draft and then make the move when you have to. Oh, look at this! God, what's happening here? Why are they side by side? Shaz, I think that's some sort of a glitch. Azim making Shaz go sideways, drifting on the straight, if that's even possible. But yeah, you can see they just stay on to each other, trying to get as much of a slipstream as possible from Abby Tarkot. Abby Tarkot's not too far off. Oh no, he is far off. Oh, that's 1.2 seconds. So these drivers are not working together. They need to bump draft each other, probably push Abby to go into the top 3 drivers in the front. So Abby Tarkot has lost out massively, even after being in the Ford GTs, 1.2 seconds behind them. But to his advantage, if there is a silver lining, these 3 drivers are not bump drafting, but as I say, Monk immediately just lines up behind Shami. So yeah, as long as these 3 don't bump draft, which they are now doing, top 3 very much looks like they will just keep on pulling away the gap. P5, Azim, Shaz. There is some sort of glitch, I believe, between Azim and Shaz. So one of them is not in sync with the others. Gabriel Zuda literally chilling at the back in P7. He says he has nothing to do with the side-on action that the drivers in front of them are going on with. Take is 1.8 seconds behind, so the batch is already into 3 groups now. I see Nadeem Kokar has left the session. He was down into P11, which is unfortunate. He should have carried on. There are points on offer even if you are last on the grid, but yeah, maybe he was too bored at the very back. Coming back onto the top, you can see this bit of a collision from Weber. He was getting sandwiched between the two Ford GTs of the Wildest Monk and Shabby, but these drivers have to be careful. These cars have a massive, or not massive, but high-end, quite a high-end top-end speed. What am I speaking? Quite a high top-end speed. Yeah, that's the word. Quite a high top-end speed, and any small error could spell disaster for any of these drivers. You can see trying to get that slipstream at any cost, and yeah, one lap is now over. So final lap has begun. So one lap took almost 6 minutes, just 13 seconds under. You can see this drag race between these 3 Ford GTs. So it's a beautiful replay camera shot. This game is quite impressive when it comes to replay cameras. Abhi Thakur is holding on to his P4 for now. Azim Clark is in P9. Shazeb and Cape Crusader are in P6 and 7 respectively. I think they'll quite respectfully drive behind each other, trying to not lose too much time. And in the third group, we see Fun Anywhere, FSB, and Teg is one who is not in the slipstream at the moment, but he will be now. So that group, I mean, the cars have broken into groups quite quickly than I would have imagined. I expected them to be quite close to each other throughout the entirety of this race, but that is not the case, as I've turned into a poet for some reason. Top 3, there you go. Ford GT working as a team is Weber, Monk and Shabby. So turn number 3 of this race, turn 1 of the track is coming up, and as long as they can manage to stay in the, you can see how close they are. It's literally nothing between them, just 1/10 between the top 3. Abhi Thakur has pulled up a gap just slightly, but he will be reeled in yeah, pretty soon. And you can see the gap between the top 3 and Abhi has swelled up to 3 seconds. So that is the disadvantage you're at when you are out of the slipstream. Shazam can consider, so they're not fighting each other for position at the moment, which is quite smart thing to do. Just help each other, push and close on the gap as much as possible you can to the top 3, if that's possible at all now, and take it from there. Further back in the third group, it's Fun Anyway, FSB and Teg is one who have held on to the positions as they were the last time we were on board with them. So pretty stagnant race at the moment. The lead will change obviously, but it's at the end of the next straight where everything will really kick off. You can see 3 GTs going side by side, and it's quite impressive. You know, these drivers, they are not slipstream, they are slipstreaming, but most of the time they are going side by side and not to hit either one of them, and just ruining the race for themselves. All others is rather impressive. So you can see they will go side by side. They will slipstream for a bit, as Weber, I think he hit the wall there, but no major damage. So they bump draft, slipstream each other, and then they get out of it and go wheel to wheel. Abhi Thakur is maintaining his gap here. He's actually pulling away slightly. You can see the gap is improving from the cars behind. The gap is pretty stagnant here. So 320, that's 200 miles per hour is what Abhi is doing without a slipstream. With slipstream, the Corvette is doing exactly the same. So this is going wonderfully, and Shazeb in his Viper is going even slower than him. But you can see Teg is being pushed, and these cars, even with the slipstream, are doing exactly the same what 4 GTs are doing. So you can see why the GTs have pulled away, and why Abhi Thakur is but rather staying in front of the pack that's just right behind him. They're not closing down to him. Even with the slipstream, the speed is exactly the same. Even the slipstream for the Chevrolet and the Viper, and you can see the gap is now increasing between Azim and Cape Crusader. So as things stands, 4th, 5th can stay as it is unless something major happens. But coming back to the front, you can see the top end speed here is 330, so 10 kph more than what the non-4 GTs are doing. So we are coming to the interesting bit of the track or of the race. This is where drivers will forget all about the brotherhood. All the friendliness will go out of the window. One more corner to go, final lap, few kilometers to go. This is going to kick off rather well. Shami in P1, Monk in P2, Webber in P3, about to take the final corner. They are still in single file. We could very well see them pull out of slipstream. Who will be the first one? Will it be Webber? Will it be Wildest Monk? Wildest Monk has gone on the outside. Obviously, Shami will defend on the inside. He's still P2. Webber is now right in the middle of those two, but this is helping Shami that bit more. Shami holding down the inside line and he's trying to push away, but looks like Shami will take the win here, but there's still few meters to go. Anything can happen, anything can win. This is Webber had now pulled away on the outside, but can he take the win? It's going argy-bargy between these three. Wildest Monk just 500 off. The gap is coming down. Shami could lose it at the end there. Wildest Monk on the outside, but can he take the win away from him? No, they're still pushing each other away, and Shami looks like he gets the P1. Webber gets P2. Wildest Monk not too far away, just 500th of a second from P1, takes P3. That's how close it was. Abby Thakur in the 4GD takes P4, Azim Clark in P5, Shabazz in P6, Cape Crusade in P7, Teg is one in P8, and who was it? My memory's not too good, I'm afraid. I'll just have a look at the final result, but what a race we've had. Let's just run that. Fun, yeah, Fee has been P9, Fun anyway in P10, and Nadeem Kokar was the DNF of this race. So what a brilliant race here. 500th seconds separating. Look at the gap between Webber and Wildest Monk here. 1,000 of a second. How close can it be? It's just 1,000 between P2 and P3. This has been quite an interesting finish. Shami must be sweating quite a bit under that helmet of his. He was leading the race throughout and drivers were helping him, but he knew that those guys behind him will attack him on the final corner. But he did the smart thing, held the inside line and hoped that the drivers behind him fight each other for the position. And fortunately for him, things worked out perfectly. So Shami taking the win in race 2 of this GT series. So we are now on to the final race. We will be at Blue Moon Speedway in Field A, if I'm not wrong, if I remember that name correctly. And we could have another interesting race on our hands. So 2 races, 2 different winners in Abby and Shami. Let's see if we have a different winner in race 3, and I'll be right back. Welcome back to the final race of GT NASCAR series. Hopefully, fingers crossed, no one disconnects, or rather everyone starts perfectly this time. Especially Ancient Pleb, who has been patient enough to stick around for this long, and in the hope that he gets to start at least one race tonight. And yeah, let's just hope everyone just get off the line smoothly, which they don't. Azim, and this is so unfortunate for these two drivers. So as we've done for every race, just once more. This is not gonna help. I mean, shouldn't have taken more than an hour, and I think we are close to the 90-minute mark as of now. There's a carnage behind. So yeah, I mean, these glitches is what just makes this experience a bit painful than it really should have been, as everyone is being requested to leave the session so that we can just restart. I'm surprised people are still sticking with the 4GT, judging by the fact that it didn't have the best of the race at Laguna Seca. But I think the final corner, or rather penultimate corner, this one all the way up to turn 1 is such a long straight. I think that is what motivating these drivers to stick with the 4GT. It should be interesting. The middle sector is quite tricky. It is high speed, but it should be interesting to see how it manages against the likes of the Mustang and the Corvettes. It did dominate in the Special Stage Route X, but that was very much expected of that car, and we did see the top 4 finishes were all 4GTs as opposed to what they performed at Laguna Seca. So this should be interesting. It's quite interesting track, this. Of course, it has that rather challenging triangular shape Blue Moon Speedway. It looks easy, but it's quite tricky to get a perfect lap on, especially turn 1, where you tend to carry too much speed and into the barriers. Your car will go. So yeah, so this is the infield. More than half of the grid, or the track, the outer track is on this track. It's just the infield section that will hopefully make this interesting. So I'm quite curious to see how 4GT will perform here. This will be quite strong on this stretch of this track, but it's the middle track here where I really think the Mustang will shine more, even better than what the Corvette could manage. I think Mustang is the car to go here. But that's just my personal preference, and I'm someone who hasn't played GT Sport in quite a long time, so you can value my opinion as much as you want to based on that fact. Right. Just waiting on a few drivers to join back in, and a couple of drivers in Azim and Ancient Pleb who weren't able to get off the track on our first attempt. Hopefully they are able to do that, especially for Ancient Pleb, who for some reason, or maybe his connection, or the IP address, or just general lobby connection issues, is not allowing him to race with us. So which is sad, but we can only hope with this game that everyone gets to race each other. So again, a lot of drivers sticking to the cars that they chose at the start. Nadeem Coker being one of them, driving the Mustang in all 3, K Crusader and the Viper in all 3. Weber sticking to the same. Shaz, who wasn't here on the first race. Yeah, I think we should start. I'm sorry, I'm not checking my phone, so I won't even know even if you're messaging me. So thanks for dropping a message here. We can start and hopefully get this race underway as soon as possible. So we should see that start race message pop up on the screen pretty soon. I love this track. It's one of my favorites. So another high speed section here. Let's just commentate. Who's this? Take is one. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. This corner especially here, you can see if you carry too much speed, you will be into the grass, and yeah, you can lose your back end. So that's quite deceptive, that corner. You believe that you can take that corner at high speed, but it just catches you out, and by the time you realize, it's too late and you are into the barriers or the grass. Fingers crossed for the final time. Hopefully everyone is able to start the race smoothly. Asian player, I don't see his car here. That just sucks for him. But for the final time, and I'm hoping everyone gets off the line smoothly as the plane just takes off right in front of us, and everyone is off except Azim. So Azim is the only one, unfortunately, but given the time constraint, I think we have to continue with this race. Teg is one, managed to hold on to his lead, but no, it's Weber in P1. Teg is one is in P2. Cape Crusader going side by side. Look at this, 4 wide into turn 1. Teg is one has fallen down the order to P3, but they're still side by side. Everyone, there's a bit of a collision behind him, and playing like a domino effect, and into turn 2 quite tricky. And yeah, I expected everyone, nearly half of the grid is into the walls here. Some of them who survived will be thanking their lucky stars here, but Teg is one who was almost at the lead at the start. It's down to P6, Nadeem Foucault in P7, Web in P8, Fun anyway P9, and Wildest Monk in P10. So Mr. Consistent, as I've personally like to call him, is down in last position, not having the best of the races tonight. Cape Crusader, who hasn't actually led a lap, I believe, so far in the 2 races, is leading the lap on the final race of this. So this is a 15-minute race. A lap is just over a minute, so this should be over in the 16 to 17-minute mark here. But again, this is a section where slipstream will come into effect. So will 4GT have that advantage over the Vipers? So Shami is being hounded by the 2 Vipers in Shehbaz and Cape Crusader, whose name yet cannot remember, unfortunately. But side by side into turn 1, on the outside is 4GT, going enough space given to him by Cape Crusader, and there's a bit of a collision on the bump that we have on turn 1, and yeah, Shami is being just hit everywhere, and he's off into the gravel, and so is the leader, and he's just stopped. He has hit a barrier on the end of that grass, and look at him, he's just stopped. He's just right there. He cannot move. He's not reversing. Was he hit? It looks like that he was hit, and he's left the room. So maybe someone must have punted him, not exactly punt, but maybe some slight love tap behind him, and yeah, he's unfortunately out of this. But Abhi Thakur, I see he's in a different livery, driving Viper for the first time, and he has driven a different car in every different race tonight. So it's a Viper 1 and 2, followed by the Chevrolet Corvette, a FSB or Aniket in P3. Teg is one who has shown really good pace, hasn't managed to put in a consistent result of what we've seen so far from him pace-wise, but he has managed to set the fastest lap. So will we see maybe a resurgent performance from Teg and take the win away from the fighting pack that's in front of him? Further back, Nadeem Khoka, who's another driver who has shown good pace but not good results to go with it, is down in P5, but he's being pushed along by Shami in his 4GT. Wildest Monk, Mr. Consistent, who was last at one point, is up into P7, so he's showing his consistency. Fun anywhere right behind him, P8, and Webov in 4GT, rounding off the back up in the front. The battle for the lead continues. Shehbaz, why do I call him Shazim? Shehbaz continuing with his lead on at the end of lap 3, followed by Abhi Thakur. So Viper 1, 2, 3. So FSB has lost out. He was P3 the last time we were on board with him, but just like the last race at special stage, it was Ford 1, 2, 3 there. It is Viper 1, 2, 3. So maybe Viper is the car to be on. Abhi Thakur has taken the lead here. Race winner from race 1 has taken a provisional lead. He's in the provisional P1 here, so Shehbaz has fallen behind him at the moment though. Remember, this is not net P1. There is no pit stop, there is no tire wear, there is no fuel wear, so it's flat out a sprint race to the finish. Fierce B is falling slightly behind him. Cape Crusader is back in the room, so maybe there was a connection issue on his end rather than someone hitting him off from behind. But Shami has is still behind him. Vitus Monk on the inside, breaks really late, but as a result goes deep into the corner, and Shami says thank you very much, I'll have that P6 back from you. But Nadeem Khokar is doing rather well here amongst the powerful cars in the Vipers and Ford GT. The lone Mustang in the top 5, or should I say top 7. Actually, he's the lone Mustang in the entire grid, so he's doing quite well in where is he? P5 here. So yeah, you can see he's defending. He knows he has that speed disadvantage with him. You can see the advantage 260 kph compared to 255. So Slipstream helping the Ford GT that much. And yeah, it's a corner. It's the second sector, I think, where the Ford Mustang has some advantage, but Shami on the inside carrying that speed through the main straight. Takes P5 away from Nadeem. But this is a section where the Ford Mustang, I think, is slightly better. But unfortunately for Mustang, this section is not as long as sector 1 and 3 is. So, oh, he said it's on the inside. That was unexpected. I was just speaking that this section is not as big as sector 1 and 3, but how big or how small it is, Nadeem Khokar is taking full advantage of it, and that was a pretty good move. As you can see, Shami is losing the back end, and with it he could lose P6 as well. And yeah, Wildest Monk up into P6. He was P10 at one stage of this race, and we are still into at the end of lap 5, so he has gained quite a lot of position. As the Wildest Monk, Nadeem Khokar is pulled up a gap, and he's away from the Slipstream range with these two GTs fighting, so Nadeem Khokar must be heaving a sigh of relief. And for the 3 seconds up the field is Fierce. He's doing quite well here, sticking to the 5% in front, but Abhi Thakur 1.5 seconds up in the front. You know, I'm starting to believe that Abhi Thakur has put in some work in all the 3 tracks. He has managed to pick perfect cars for every single track tonight. Ford Mustang at Laguna, he dominated at race. Ford GT at special stage, but it was all down to Slipstream, but he had the car to stay in front even after the slipstream of the car behind. And Viper at Blue Moon, that is, look at he's going purple on lap 7, lap 6 rather, and yeah, he's pulling away the gap, but Tech managed to overtake Shehbaz. So these two were fighting quite aggressively, where Shehbaz and Tech, and Tech has come out better of the two. So considerable gap between the 3 Vipers now. They were side by side a couple of laps earlier, but now it's opening up just a little bit, and maybe this is the time where Tech can show his real pace here. I did say that he looks like someone who has pace, but it unfortunately hasn't been reflected in the final races. So maybe we can see Tech pulling one win out of the bag before this NASCAR GT series concludes. Shehbaz in P3 still in the podium contention so far, and so is Aniket in the Corvette. He's doing rather well to stay with the top 3 here. Further back, why does Mango? Where is Nadeem Khokar? Nadeem Khokar is down into P6, so something must have happened while I was on board with the Vipers in the front. Wildest Monk from P10 at one stage is picking up positions one by one every lap, and now he's up into P5, and now he's hunting down Aniket or VSP in P4. So can we see Monk with 8 more laps to go, 7 laps once he has crossed the finish line, maybe challenge the podium winners? The fastest lap is a 106.5. This was a 106.5 from Monk, but slightly slower, so he is up at par with the fastest runner. FSB did a 107.2, so 7/10 slower was he as compared to the Wildest Monk. 107.0, so 5/10 slower. Shehbaz, and he loses the back end on that corner, and Wildest Monk, you can see now he's right on Shehbaz's tail, and we could see a move very much into this next hairpin on the outside. Can he make this work? No, the switchback line. And what a beautiful move from Mr. Consistent Wildest Among. I'm sorry I call him that, but he would know why I do. And he's up into P4. So every lap so far, Ankur or the Wildest Among has picked up a position. So maybe we could see him take the podium position on the next lap. So this is a really impressive drive from Ankur here, Wildest Monk. He is 5.5 seconds off the leaders. And speaking of the leader, Teg is right on his tail. He has set up a purple lap, the fastest lap of the race so far, 2 tenths quicker than his previous best. Wildest Monk is up into P3, so speed advantage that we saw. And this is exactly the same time the Wildest Monk set there. 106.344, Wildest Monk 106.344. So that's how close he is, and he's still going purple. 1.5 tenths is he quicker than his previous lap, previous best lap. So Wildest Monk is on a charge, and by the looks of it and by the way he's catching up to the pack, maybe Wildest Monk can challenge these guys for the win. You never know. But Teg, meanwhile, is wide on Abhi Thakur's tail. I can't say exhaust pipe because Viper has his pipes on the sides. So will we see Teg? He is not close enough at the moment, but the way slipstream work and the long or the length, the main straight has, he can close on the gap, but I don't think it's long enough for him to make any move. So Teg needs to be even closer. Oh, he goes on the inside. He breaks really late, attempts to go for the move, but he wasn't close enough. That was quite aggressive from him, but all good in a bit to snatch that victory away from him. He is going purple, is Teg. But for some reason, Monk wasn't able to beat his personal best time. He was 1.5 tenths up on the previous lap. Let's have a look at any of the battles that we have on track. Chamois in P7, Fun Anywhere, drifting through turn 2, and Corvette's, his Corvette rather, not having the best of the race. Oh, this is a swap. Oh, I did see a swap in the name, and it's for the lead here. And Abhi Thakur on the outside will have to relinquish his lead, goes into the wall, gets a slight hit from Teg, who really needs that win from tonight. From the 3 races tonight. I'm sorry I cannot speak. My throat is dry. It's too late in the night. My mind is not working to its capacity. But Teg is one has managed to take the lead away from Abhi Thakur. Teg was down in P5 or P6, I remember, if I'm not wrong, at the start of this race. But he has picked his drivers one by one. Speaking of picking drivers, who else did it better than Wildest Monk here? 4 laps to go, 4 seconds behind the leaders. Will this be enough? Look at the times, how consistent he is, just a tenth or 2 away from his best lap or the previous 5 laps. But it can be said for Teg is one as well, and Abhi Thakur. I mean, his last lap, him and Teg's lap were the best, but they were battling side by side, so they can get that benefit. But the gap is falling down. It is under 4 seconds, and it is coming down 3.7, 3.5 now, 3.4. So Wildest Monk is really pushing, and with these 2 drivers fighting it out, this is gonna help Wildest Monk so much more. Further back, we have the battle for P5 between Nadeem Khokar, Shehbaz, who has fallen down to P6. He was fighting for the lead at one stage. He is down in P6. Chamois in his 4GT is into P7, and Fun Anywhere, not a night to remember. He is struggling. It's still in the grass. He is going into the grass every time we are on him, so it's rather unfortunate. But the gap is still close between the leaders. And Wildest Monk, 2.7 seconds. So he is closing down the gap rather quickly. Half a second or 6 tenths. Was he quicker? And they go side by side. Can Abhi Thakur on the outside make any move? Teg is one, making his Viper as wide as possible, parking the bus on the exit as he should. He was expecting that switchback, and look at this again. He goes wide as he prepares himself for the next corner, using the apex, and on the entry, making use of that apex on the inside to get maximum speed on the exit. And he is pulling away a gap, so maybe he has pulled up a gap enough to keep him in front for yet another lap. 2 more laps to go after this, or rather 3 more laps. And Wildest Monk just 2.1. He can literally see these drivers in the front. The fastest lap 106.32. So Monk is pushing lap after lap. FSB is in a comfortable P4, but meanwhile further back down the field, Shahbaz is in P5. He has overtaken Nadeem, who was in P5 couple of laps later, and he gets hit into the wall by the Ford GT of Shami, and he won't be happy with that, and he is fallen out of the slipstream zone. But we've seen Nadeem how quick he is, so he will be in the slipstream zone before the lap ends. So the battle for P5 is quite interesting. The battle for the lead is quite interesting. So this is where everything is evenly poised. Tegizone hasn't managed to relinquish that lead since he overtook Abhi Thakur. But will Abhi Thakur, is he close enough? 6.5 tenths behind the race leader. Is he close enough, or will he be close enough? But no, what happened here? Wildest Monk out of nowhere, he's down to P4 and he's 8.5 seconds behind the leader. So something must have happened. Maybe he was pushing too hard to get near to the leaders. He's now out of the podium contention, but with 2 more laps to go after this, can he at least salvage P3 and take that final podium away, podium step away from Aniket here? Aniket has to drive, or FSB has to drive out of his skin to keep that fast approaching black Ford GT away. Oh, that was a massive corner that goes into the grass. The commentator's curse. Has he been hit by it? And now you can see the back behind him has closed down quite a bit. But will he see a dive bomb? We have seen on a couple of occasions from him. He's left the door open. Has Aniket, and will he take the opportunity? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And he moves up into P3. I think FSB should have defended that. But maybe he knew that the GT will be quicker on the main straight. Maybe he's going for that slipstream. He is close enough, just 3 tenths behind him, so maybe we can see him re-overtake him at turn 1. But as we start our final lap, nothing between these two drivers. Abhi Thakur has the inside line. We'll stay on board with these front runners. Abhi Thakur on the inside, Teg on the outside. Teg is in the lead, but not even by a tenth. That's how close this is. Let's hope there is no collision between them. And Abhi Thakur backed out of it very smartly, not causing any collision. I think he is waiting for that main straight, but for that he needs to be as close as possible before at the exit, not before, but at the exit of that final corner to have any chance of taking that win away from him with the help of slipstream. But for Teg's point of view, he needs to get a perfect launch of that final corner. At the moment he's 8 tenths up, so he looks pretty safe for now to take this win. But you never know, anything can happen. He can hit the wall at the final corner. He does not, takes it cleanly. So I think this is it. So we have our race winner in Tegizone, who after not having the best of races at the first 2 races will take the checkered flag in P1 on the final race of GD Sport NASCAR Series. Abhi Thakur drifts across the finish line, takes P2, yet on the podium for him tonight. But Wildest Monk, what a drive from him. He was down in last and he's made his way up into the podium finish. FSB in P4, Shahbaz in P5, Shami in P6, Nadeem Koka in P7. And a last of the race finisher will be fun anywhere, who they couldn't have the best of the result as we all would have expected of him. Maybe not the best of the cars decision wise, but nevertheless he will finish off or round off the points finisher at Blue Moon in P8. So wonderful driving from him as he's being chased by an airplane at the top, and he takes the checkered flag for the final time and sets his personal best on the final lap of the race. So what a wonderful race. 3 DNFs unfortunately, but the winner of our race is Teg is 1. I hope for the final time I pronounced that correctly. So let's go to the finishing order. Teg is 1 in his Viper, is P1 Abhi Thakur. What a wonderful race between these two for the majority of the race. In P2, Wildest Monk, Mr. Consistent in P3, FSB in P4. He did quite well to hold on to his position for as long as he did. Shehbaz in P5 in his Viper, he was leading the race but just fell apart in the middle part of the race. Shami in P6, Nadeem in P7, fun anywhere in P8 where our finishers Azim and I don't know who were the top bottom two finishers here, but Azim was the DNF of this race. So let me just go back and calculate the points. Let's see who our top three finishes were, and let's try to get them into the party and speak to us. So I'll be right back in a couple of minutes. Points table has been updated. So after three races, our top three looks like this. Abby Thakur on 73, Teg is one on 67, and Shami on 54. So those three were our uh, top three finishes after the three races. After that, just 1 point separated Wildest Monk from taking that P3 away from Shami, but I think Laguna Seca result did affect him badly there. Followed Monk was Fierce B, Fun Anywhere, Webhub, Shaz or Shabazz, and Nadeem, Cape Crusader, Azim Clark, and then Nikhil, Shah, Teeves, and Ancient Pleb, unfortunately. So let me just try to invite these three guys here and see what they have to say.
ये तारीख
Hello. Hello, Shamim, Abhi Thakur. Well done to the two of you. And we're just waiting for Teg to show up. Manu, that's his name. Manu to show up. Uh, so while he's just in the process of joining us, let's just start. Let's not keep you guys on hold. So we'll start from Abby. First, can you guys ensure that your party chat is set to share so that people on the stream can hear? Okay, if you can do the same to, if you can do the same, Shamim. Yeah, you can hear me, but just check if your voice is set to share to party play. I can hear you. Let me just check the screen. Right. So while Shamim or Shami does that, let's just start with Abby, our champion of this NASCAR series. So well done. First of all, congratulations on can I say comprehensively winning this. You looked on quite a form there. 3 tracks, 3 different cars. Did you practice for this? That was unfortunate. He couldn't race, but I mean, even without Pleb, there were quite a few quick drivers. There was Teg, of course. There was Shami. There was Wildest Monk, and few others in the Deem Coker that I saw for the first time, who were quite quick. So even coming against those guys, you looked in a totally different zone. So did you expect this performance, or were you surprised by it?
Not really surprised because I knew that a lot of people are new to this kind of league racing, at least the ones who joined today. So I knew there was going to be a lot of carnage. So out on the outside, then I was go through. But some really quick drivers, I have to say. I mean, I think you and I we've been racing for more than a year now together, and to see all of these guys come up and set such blistering quick times, especially Teg, I think that's commendable. So yeah, loved the challenge, loved the fight with Teg in the last race as well.
Yeah, that was quite impressive to see as well. You two were going at it against each other. So yeah, that did provide us with a good viewing. Shami,
Yep.
yeah, while you wait for Tech to join, I've sent him an invite. Let's just hope he joins back in. After that initial race at Laguna, where you finished last of the finishes, I believe you were a lap down. Expected to bounce back the way you did?
Yes, I did try to bounce back, but that in-game glitch where I was heading to the last corner, but there was this one wheel off-road and it just spun. So I had to go inside the pit. So I thought, okay, I'll go inside the pit, come out, but it just respawned to me the main street and it gave me penalty for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just put me one lap behind. And suddenly I saw Wildest Monk was back. I was like, what? So it was like pretty funny race for me. So, but then, yeah, it's a cool one. I had fun too.
Yeah, it was surprising to see you, I mean, so far back to start with, and then a lap down after a few laps at Laguna. So, I mean, I was personally surprised because I know what your pace is, at least compared to Abby, because as he said, we've been racing for quite some time now. But, I mean, you came back strongly into the next race. Yeah, speaking of next race, how tensed were you at the final corner of the final lap? Because those two guys were right on your tail, and it could have gone anyway. You could have finished P3 out of nowhere, but you managed to hold on to P1.
I wasn't scared at all. The thing is, I had so much fun in the second race because it's just a slipstream battle. So, my concentration, I just kept my car on the line because I know in that second circuit, it's just if you take the inside line, it's more faster and keep the car more stable. And I tried a little bit differential in the last lap and the last corner. But yeah, hopefully I'm happy to finish.
I mean, that win did give you, I mean, the top three finish overall. So, I mean, even a P2 at that point, I would have been speaking to someone else. But it is you who's here. So, well done. So, going to Blue Moon, I mean, I did ask Abby that he chose different cars for different tracks, but you stuck with the GT and all three tracks. And to be honest, I was surprised that you stuck with GT for the final race as well, because I was expecting that after that Laguna Seca, should I say, failure, you stuck with GT on a track that has twisty corners to it. So, any strategy to it, or you had decided to just be in the Ford?
No, I just tried to be a little off of the grid. I mean, off in the sense odd on the grid. The thing is, like when I saw the messages, I saw people are choosing the front engine rear wheel drive car, Dodge, Chevrolet,
Mm-hmm.
and Ford Mustang. So I thought, okay, for a change, I could go for this Ford GT. And I actually liked that car, and I previously raced with that car in Laguna Seca, and it was brilliant. So I thought I could get the handle of the car pretty quick, but turned out to be a little different one. But all the three races I actually enjoyed in that car, and
Well,
it's not
that was the
but
purpose,
really,
right? At the end of the day, I mean, it had been a long time that since we all raced together, and it was good to have all of you back. I think Teg is having some issue to join us, unfortunately. It would have been good to talk to him. He did look like someone who had really good pace, and I did say on the stream as well that he just missed out on points, maybe wrong choice of car in a Viper in race 2. uh, things could have been different if he would have been in GT, but it's all if and buts. So Abby Thakur, congratulations on pretty impressive drive on all the three races, and well done to Shami as well. So you did quite well after after a not so good race in Laguna. And thanks to everyone who are tuned in. I see quite a few people who are still watching the stream. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for leaving the comments who did. And hopefully we should be bringing something similar like this soon. So until then, everyone have a good night, and yeah, stay healthy. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.